times. Queer times. Queer times.
Kristen.
Hi, Harrison.
Hey, Kristen.
Welcome to Queer Times. I'm Kristen Becker.
And I'm Harrison Fish.
Wow. That was
How are you?
it's incredible.
I've just got a lot of energy today.
Yeah, because you went to the
Yeah.
gym.
No, I haven't gone to the gym yet. So I mentioned to Kristen before we started recording that I was trying to get back on my fitness journey, but I did have a realization.
Mm-hmm.
My entire life, I
Mhm.
will not be very active for a little bit of time because of whatever, I'm sick and then I'm like, I need to get more active. I'm going to run a 5K, which I still think I'm 23 years old.
Mm.
And after not doing anything for 2 months, I think I can go run a 5K. And usually I do as of late, as I'm older, I'll do that and I'll hurt myself.
Okay.
And I'll try to run a 5K and then it'll be a week of recovery because my knee hurts and all this hurts.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm adjusting to the fact that I'm now middle-aged and I'm going to start at a more reasonable point. I have been getting 10,000 steps every day since Friday.
That's great. That is
Yeah.
I too am prone to binge, regardless of what it is, including fitness. I will have you know that KT, my lovely partner, can be that person who's like hasn't done anything and then she's like, I'm gonna run a 5K or I'm gonna go crank out 3 miles, and she can just go do it. And she's not getting any younger. The other day I grabbed her butt and I was like, wow, your butt is really, and she's like, yeah, I planked. And I was like, one time? She's like, yeah. She's just
Literally.
one of those people that like if she puts any effort into it, she's like her everything pops back out and she's like, okay. And I'm like, God damn,
Yeah. Can't relate.
that is some hot girl shit.
Yeah. I hooked up with this guy a few weeks ago. Just like one of the most gorgeous bodies I've ever had the privilege of putting my hands on. And afterwards we were chit-chatting and we just started talking about the gym and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I don't go to the gym, but I don't have a washing machine. So I go every 2 weeks to grab fresh towels and drop off the old ones.
Incredible.
I was like, you only go to the gym for a fresh towel and you look like that? Crazy.
How old was he?
50. It's crazy.
This is what I mean. This is the part where like I don't understand why as humans the concept of spectrum is so difficult for us to grasp, because it's so clear that the human form is very avant-garde. Do you know what I mean? Like it comes in so many different ways and shapes and whatever. I can think about chocolate and I will gain 10 pounds. I mean, granted, I do eat it after I think about it, but the point is that my girlfriend and I have very similar. We've been together for 7 years now. We have very similar routines as far as food goes because we eat meals together all the time. And I don't know where she puts it. I don't know where it goes. It never shows up anywhere other than where it's supposed to. You know, I went to the gym today. I will have you know. I'm
Work.
also trying to get back into it because I decided when I was, number one, I'm fatter than usual. And last time this happened, I decided I was going to start to jog. I became a jogger. I'm a jogger. And I did it just like you just said. Started one day, and then I did it every single day. It was during the pandemic. I was like, here we go. And it carried on for a little while. And then my foot hurt and I just stopped. And then 3 weeks later, I was like, oh, I fixed it. And I did it again. But long story short is I fucked up my foot so hard that I'm trying to learn how to gym in a non-binge fashion where I do
Right.
the things that will actually heal my foot and not like just get on the elliptical and crank out 45 minutes because I need the sweat. Because that's what I'm there for. I'm there for the binge sweat.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well,
I'm
for me,
glad
it's
we're
like
both.
also like, I need to recognize that it's not about, I'm in my head, I'm like, the goal is to be hot. And I'm like, let's adjust. The goal is to be active today and be better tomorrow than I was today.
My goal is never to be hot, to be honest. It's always sanity over vanity, and I think it's because my girlfriend's so hot, and I also think that, like, I'm so cool in so many other ways that, like, being fat is my great equalizer. Could you imagine if I wasn't? Are you kidding me?
You'd-
Are you kidding me?
President Becker.
I'm just saying, like, I'm already capturing hotties, so I better, leave some for the rest of y'all. Okay.
Well, speaking of peak physical form,
Yes.
Let's
The
talk about the
Olympics?
Olympics.
I would love to. I would love to. What do you want to talk about?
Well, I mean, last week we talked about kind of the opening ceremonies, how the games have begun, and these games, in my opinion, have been a little bit of a mess.
And by that you mean because Americans aren't winning?
Well, yes, but also there has been these like overwhelming complaints about the quality of the courses and stadiums and arenas that they are made to participate on. Very early in the Olympics, the speed skaters were complaining that the ice was too soft and it was more figure skating ice. So I learned that there's ice that's good for speed skating, there's ice that's good for figure skating, there's ice that's good for hockey. And it
And different
seems
ice that's good for curling.
right. And it seems like no one was happy with their ice. And a lot of people, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people have heard Ilya Malinin, who is supposed to be the hands down gold medal winner by 30, 40 points, had two really big falls in his free skate, as well as a lot of like fumbles.
Did you
Like he
watch it?
didn't yeah. I mean, it's always so crushing and heartbreaking to see someone because the Olympics are really the pinnacle of so many athletes' careers. They're not on TV 5 days a week like the NBA or the NFL. Like, this is the one time they're on a world stage every 4 years. So I understand they want to do their best. And it's frustrating that it seems like we didn't get to see the figure skaters do what they can do best. Instead, we saw how good they can do in bad circumstances.
Has the IOC said anything about it?
Not really. There's a lot of people talking about it. I think out of 20 skaters, I think 15 of them fell or fumbled.
Wow. That's a lot.
Yeah, not typical. And I mean, Ilya Malinin, we've seen him do multiple free skate runs because it's the same, what's the word, routine every time. And
Right.
we've seen him do it perfectly over and over and over again. So for him to have fallen once or twice or messed up once or twice would have been understandable. But to
Right.
see him fall apart like that was kind of a lot.
I believe last week we also spoke about Ilya, by the way, afterwards was very much like, yeah, I mean, I guess my brain was not in a good place. The interview afterwards, I was like, man, the pressure on a 22-year-old, like
Definitely.
a little much.
There was also a lot of talk about, I don't know if you saw, but there was a lot of talk about his social media after it happened. So
No.
basically in his TikTok reposts, it was it was worrisome. It
In
was a lot of like that feeling when you let down the entire world, like over and over and over again. He was reposting all of these very worrisome TikToks, considering what he just went through.
both of his parents are skaters, I believe.
Yes, I know I said last week that his parents both had passed away in that airplane
Different skater.
accident. It was another skater on the American team who had lost both of his parents.
That's okay. I think last week I called Guillaume from the French ice dance. I think I called him Guillermo, to be honest.
Work.
I was thinking about that. I was like, wow, we really missed it last week. But update, Chalk and Bates, Evan Bates, Madison Chalk,
Right.
the
Right.
American ice
Who got
dance,
silver.
who got silver.
Right.
There have been some controversies this Olympics. Did you hear? Now, we can't prove it, but it turns out that the French judge and people are saying like, there's always discrepancy in scores, et cetera, et cetera. But apparently the French judge scored the American team many points less than everybody else and scored the French team many points more than all the other judges. And so there's this little bit of like, I mean,
Mm.
I think we're reaching the point where we're realizing, and maybe younger people already realize this, but I think there is some of us who are of a certain age who really believed that the Olympics and sports are about character and hard work and et cetera, et cetera. And now that's all kind of crumbling.
Mhm.
And we're starting to see and maybe even see it where it doesn't exist. We're just like kind of recognizing that characters are shot, I guess. I don't know. I feel like there's been a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? Incidences of cheating or suspected cheating, or like this is rigged or that's rigged, or, the whole shebang. There was a curling incident too.
Well, that's what when I tune into the Olympics, I am there to watch the best the world has to offer in whatever it is, and for have the best in the world to be rewarded. And I feel like we didn't get a lot of that this Olympics, considering this
You know,
judging discrepancy, considering the ice sucked, considering I don't know.
what I learned this Olympics that I didn't learn is that the Olympic sports, in some of them specifically where maybe you don't have a robust ice skating or ice dancing curriculum,
Mm,
people just move to other countries and get citizenship to then represent those countries. So there's a Netflix special called Glitter and Gold, I think, but it's about ice dancing, and they track how, like, the French team, she was Canadian before this and now is French. And there were like they like highlighted this team from Azerbaijan, and they were both very much not from, like, that it's just this thing now that specifically in ice dancing, it's so hard to find partners that part of the process is, can they get their citizenship in this country in time to then compete for the Olympics, which kind of takes away the whole thing where it's like the countries sending the best of their country
totally.
to go and compete in these world games, when in reality we're just shuffling around athletes to different countries and plugging and playing them. So I mean, I guess that makes sense if, is there any space for nationalism in a globalized society? I guess not. But in that case, then should the Olympics be something else?
Right.
Because
And this always also leads me to another point about specifically the Winter Olympics is like all of what you just said. How much money does that cost to move to an entire new country, to get citizenship in that entire country? And I think the Winter Olympics, I'm realizing, I'm kind of like, fuck the Winter Olympics. It is like the Olympics of privilege, because you cannot there's
mm,
not many sports in the Winter Olympics comparative to the Summer Olympics that you can really start from nothing and make it to the Olympics.
they all require a lot of gear and warm clothes for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, and also it's just like the amount of time you would have to practice, you would have to be on a mountain at a ski resort to the amount of what's the word? Ski passes, mountain passes, lift
Mhm.
passes. The amount of money you'd have to spend on all of those things in order to even realize that, hey, I might be good at this, I should start training, is thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yeah, that's true. I will say that I did learn that you can long jump train without snow. They actually don't use snow. They have like some sort of like, I saw a video of it. It was long jump,
Yeah.
and then they,
That also doesn't sound cheap though.
no, it's not cheap. It's not cheap. It's, yeah, you're right. It's not track, right?
Right.
Where like
It's not
with some
track, it's not
shoes,
soccer, it's not basketball, like all of those things you can play at the playground.
yes, while those still exist. I will
Mm.
say though, on that note, and not trying to brag about my privilege here, but guess what I'm doing this Saturday with my lovely partner?
Skiing?
No.
Sledding?
No, there's a little place in Falmouth called Cape Cod Curling.
No way.
There is, and on this Friday, they are having a beginner's curling class, and for $50 a piece, we can go for an hour and a half and learn the basics of curling, and I think this is when we unlock our Olympic potential, my girlfriend
Yeah.
and I. We already know she's gonna be more of a throwing the stone person just for balance. I've been stretching.
Huh.
But I feel like I'd be a really good sweeper. I feel like I'm
Hell
gonna really
yeah.
be able to sweep. So I will report back. That is gonna be this Saturday. And if you're on the Cape and you're looking for something fun to do, a Cape Cod curling for beginners.
Wow, that business must really have to make all its money once every 4 years.
You know what? I'm gonna find out. I mean, The website says they are one of the most inclusive curling clubs. They have wheelchair curling. They have a lot of like making it
Really cool.
accessible for everyone to curl, which sounds like fun. And I knew some guys who used to curl, and I liked them. So, and
Okay.
it's also a sport where you kinda it's on your honor, which is like it's a thing where curlers talk things out amongst themselves and like who's closer, whatever. And every now and again they can ask for a measure, but that's part of the drama around.
There's no like referees.
Yeah, there's not yeah, it's like a thing
Huh.
where you figure it out yourself. And I think that's why there's been a lot of drama around the possible double touching of the stone that the Canadian curling team was accused of. Have you heard of
Mm,
this?
no.
Anyway, once you let it go, you're supposed to let it go. And they're saying that they held on to it past the line of where you're supposed to let it go. And that should,
Gotcha.
yeah. So there's controversy, but I'm gonna go to the Olympics in 4 years.
I believe in you,
Thank
which
you.
leads me to my next point. Curling, a s- I feel like there are a lot of sports within Winter Olympics where curling less much than others, but I don't understand what it takes to be good at.
Practice.
Well, right. But what I mean is like, is
I
the
don't know if you've heard
person
this, but practice makes perfect. Have you ever heard of that? I just made that up.
once or twice?
Okay.
But I guess what I mean is when it comes to like singles bobsled, is someone laying like this better than the next person?
Yes.
I don't believe you.
It's timed. It's a timed race, so you don't have to believe it because it's physics and math.
Yeah, but I just mean maybe I don't understand, but like you're not doing anything. You're laying on a thing.
No, you're doing something. You're
Okay.
definitely doing something
You're
with your body.
steering, you're
You're
doing stuff.
steering.
Okay.
You're 100% steering. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But like also when it comes to like that like we have one that's one guy face up. Then we have another one that's two guys face up where it's just let's throw another guy on there.
Gay. I was talking to Katie about that. I was like, "What in the homosexuality? Could you?" And also, I'm assuming the single luge came first, and the because it's not a bobsled, it's a luge.
Hmm.
And then some guy who was clearly a closet homosexual was like, "What if we did it with two guys? What do you think? Just to challenge ourselves, everybody."
And
Right?
also, why stop there? I think the Olympics should have every combination of laying face down, laying face up, facing forward, facing backwards, and every number of people on the board. There
I
should be
don't
like
know
50 of them.
know how the two-person luge ever became a thing. I also don't know how the skeleton became a thing, and that's where they're face first.
Yeah, who's like, what if I went face first at 300 miles an hour down this?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like something a 9-year-old boy would do, right?
Yeah,
Like, it
yeah.
sounds like
And also, like broken skeleton is more like it.
I see. Broken neck.
Uh,
I see what you did there. Yeah. No, it is there's definitely a discussion to be had about how come we piled two people right on top of each other like that? And maybe there's a reason for it, but they are doing something. They are definitely steering, they're lean it's all about,
hmm.
you know. Would you ever luge?
No, you have to understand. I don't even do roller coasters. I am
I
not a
also don't
thrill
do roller
seeker.
coasters. No, I feel like the world is exciting enough.
Yeah, I like moving at this pace.
10,000 a day.
Yeah. But I will also say that there was the first out women's figure skater gold medalist, and she was an American, and she's pretty awesome. So her name is Amber Glenn, gold medalist. She's American. And what was actually really cool, she skated to Like a Prayer by Madonna. And
Okay.
Madonna sent her a little video saying she thought it was amazing.
I think I did just read about that, and that is cute and fun.
She's also been very vocal. There's a couple women's figure skaters, Amber Glenn, Alyssa Liu, who are a little more alternative, and they've been very outspoken about the US government, US politics while they've been competing in the Olympics. And obviously, there's been a lot of backlash in a stick to skating kind of way. And Amber Glenn's response was, they just hate to see two woke bitches winning, which I'm like,
No, that is Yeah,
Yeah.
more of that, all of that energy. I'll take all of that
Yeah.
energy all the time, for sure.
She said, if woke means people who use their platforms to advocate for marginalized communities in the country that they are actively representing, then yeah.
Amen.
Right.
Amen. I love it. Riled up, let's go.
Hmm.
I made a gigantic decision this week.
About.
I'm gonna not gigantic, but I just had this moment. I woke up and I was like, I need to finish writing this pilot for
Yeah.
SAS, and I need to go to New York City this fall, and so I'm doing it.
I did see this. I'm very excited for you.
I'm very excited about me too. I feel like SAS is in a really good place. And while we will continue to grow, next year will be our 10 years. I feel like I have done my service in establishing this, and that when this summer's over, I can do a lot of my fall work from a laptop. I don't have to be here when there's not people in the house. And so, yeah, so I put out a thing. I was like, hey, I would love to sublet. And somebody already reached out, and it's going to be like a steal. It's going to be very affordable. And I was like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So, yes. So we're
Work.
setting some goals for the summer, and we're going to crush them. And then we're going to go spend some fall time in the city, and I'll bring my little script with me, and it'll be cute.
That sounds really exciting.
I'm excited about it. I think it's time for me to go back to that creative part of myself, because quite frankly, I've been a comic that I'm not proud of, because I've been able to
Mm,
regurgitate the same. I live in a
mm,
tourist economy. I can regurgitate the same 15 minutes every week for my hosting spot, or even 40 minutes. And so I'm not as connected with the current political writing, like writing stuff
mm,
for current political times and that sort of thing. And that used to be what I was really good at.
mm.
And so it'll be fun to just go somewhere where I'm a 100% nobody, and just try to mic some things and work on writing stuff. And I'll have the pilot finished before I go. I would love to have like almost a full season done before I go.
Oh, damn.
And then, yeah, just like it's time for goals again.
I love
It's
that. I'm
time.
kind of feeling the same way. Time for goals.
Yeah. What do you got?
Yeah.
What do you got? You got some goals?
Walk 10ths a day.
That's a great fucking goal.
Yeah.
I love that.
I learned about myself is like I'm such an all or nothing person that kind of holding myself back has been a good exercise for me. It's not tomorrow I want to run a 5K, or tomorrow I want to look a certain way. Tomorrow I want to be able to bench press 150, and then 2 weeks later I can't do it yet and I'm like fuck this, I'm done. It's like
Hmm.
setting my expectations a little better, and also celebrating little victories and not letting the finish line be where it is rather than trying to make the finish line where I want it to be.
I like that. I'm
Yeah.
also trying to just binge less. I'm just like, no, so I
Binge
got up
TV.
at, no, just no, all the binging of TV. It is winter
Gotcha.
time. I don't need to be spending any money going out. It's all about TV right now. We're on season 7 of The West Wing, speaking of. That's
Mm.
how much it's all about TV right now. Those episodes are an hour apiece. There's 22 in each season. So you do the math.
Damn.
Yeah, no, there's been some binging. But oh shit, what was I saying? What were you just saying? I
You're
swear I
done
was
binging.
listening. Yeah, so similar thing, right? Where I have, instead of like spending a weekend writing, I'm like, oh, what if once a week I write for 2 hours?
Right.
Or 3 hours and then come back. And I've also started selling my cards on eBay
Word.
in a way that I'm basically just trying to preserve my mental health by using technology in ways that benefit me, no matter how small they are, and to like not be doom scrolling, right? So for me, it's selling sports cards on eBay and like loading them up. So instead of like scrolling at night, it's like I have some pictures of cards in my phone that maybe I'll only make $1.50, but I don't fucking care, because it's time that I'm doing something that feels similar. I got the same like phone hit. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
you get that thing, but it's not me just like doom scrolling or like seeing all the terrible things that are going on in the world. It's just me looking at a ridiculous picture of a quarterback that I'm going to try to sell to some other grown ass man in another state for $2.
That sounds great.
I don't know why. When I first started this, I was never like, oh, I'm going to sell cards on eBay. Like, it was never that. But now I'm like, actually, how much money could I make at a buck or $5 a pop if I don't touch it this year, if that's what I do with my free time. So
Totally.
we're leaning into hobbies, we're leaning into health, we're leaning into creativity. We will destroy the patriarchy.
We'd love to see it.
We love it when that happens. Also, it is Fat Tuesday, and I would be remiss, is that the word I'm looking for, if I didn't
Sure.
say Happy Fat Tuesday. Laissez les bons temps rouler. Let the good times roll. I'm missing Mardi Gras so hard this year. And I don't know if you know this, but if you grow up in Louisiana, Mardi Gras is culture
Mm.
and it is a lifestyle. It's not just a New Orleans thing, it's all of Louisiana.
It's
And
also
so
fully year round.
it is not. It is not fully year round.
I just
It
mean
is
the preparing, it's a year round industry. It's not like, oh, Mardi Gras is coming up. What should we do? It's like the second one's over. It's like, what's for next year?
yeah, the floats are getting built, etc. But it's a thing where you just like schools have Mardi Gras break. Like you don't go to school. It's another break. And
That's so
so
cool.
I can't tell you how much I am, and I understand why. It's the political climate. It's a place to go to burn off steam. It's also a place to go where the floats are snarky and political and
Mm.
funny and like they take shots at the government and at assholes. And then it's also a moment where you're like, wow, I think the last Mardi Gras I went to was maybe 8 years ago. And it was a little bit, there was definitely like a moment post Katrina where it was like, you recognize the importance of Mardi Gras happening for the community and for the culture. But there
Mm.
was also this moment of like, wow, look at all these crews spending all this money building these floats and people don't have their homes rebuilt yet, right? Like there's just so
Mm.
much around the history of New Orleans and Mardi Gras. But it is Fat Tuesday today. When this comes out, it will have been Fat Tuesday yesterday. And so I have to say happy Fat Tuesday to everybody because it's a big deal. And if you've never gone to Mardi Gras, you absolutely have to go. You don't have to go for Fat Tuesday. You could go anytime for 12th night, the 12 days leading up, and enjoy it because it is a masterclass in the art of letting go
Hell yeah.
is what it is for a little while. And just like disconnecting with everything else and connecting around you with the people and the energy and the vibe and the music and the drugs. And the drugs.
Hell
Not
yeah.
always the drugs, but there's definitely some drugs. I
Yeah.
remember getting
It's a
off.
party.
I was working in the French Quarter and I got off early for Mardi Gras, which was amazing because it was like I worked at a fancier place, the Pelican Club. And I remember turning around and like with a friend of mine and they just put a drug in my mouth. And I was not someone who necessarily did drugs, but I had a great time that night, to be honest.
Work. Okay, like a kind of a funny story in regards to something like that is people do that to me all the time. And
Just put
I
drugs in
don't,
your mouth?
not all the time, but more than most, I'd imagine. And I don't really do that. So, but like, I don't not do it. So I have like a little collection of like mangled gel caps because people put them in my mouth and then I save them for later, but I
You
never
save
use
them? Do you know what they are?
Yeah, mostly.
What are they?
I mean, probably MDMA,
Okay.
which I
Yeah, I
don't
think
have in my apartment right now.
no. Why would you ever have that in your apartment? That's
Right.
against the law.
But it's always like what I'm saying. It's like 6 or 7 mangled gel caps because they've been in my mouth into my pocket.
I love that you keep them. That would never occur to me.
Oh my god, for when I want to do it, which is kind of never, but you know.
That's the part what I mean is like that would never occur to me because I don't.
It's also like most of the time it's like 12:45 at a club in P Town, and I'm like, are
Mm,
you insane?
there's nothing open after this.
Yeah, what am I gonna do? Lay in my bed and stare at the ceiling till 7
Well,
a.m.
are
2
they
days
giving
from
it
now?
to you because they want sexy time? Is this boy culture?
Who knows?
Well, I mean, you would know more than I would know.
I'm kind of I know I seem very of the world, but I'm very much oblivious to things like that.
Of hookup culture? No, you're not.
In-person hookup culture.
You're just an app boy.
Mostly in real life,
Man.
I'm like, I want everyone to think I'm funny and smart. And then I'm like, oh wait, I should also be making them want to fuck me. And I always forget that, but whatever.
Wait, sorry, that just blew my lesbian mind. In my culture, if I'm funny and smart, they wanna fuck me. Is that not
Yeah.
that's not how it works?
No.
Wow, it actually, thank God I'm not a dude because that's
I'm
been
also
my selling point. I'm funny and smart.
I mean, who knows? Because I just said I want them to think I'm funny and smart. I never said I succeeded. So who knows? Should we talk about some things going on in the world?
What's going on in the world?
There have been some political things that have happened. We talked about Winter Olympics, which is good. We talked about can we say that Amber Glenn is our QT of the week?
I would love for Amber Glenn to be our QT of
Yeah.
the week. She's queer. She won a gold medal, and Madonna sent her a message. She got a
And she
free cameo from Madonna.
literally, she's
That's
definitely our
like
QT of the week.
that's queer royalty.
But this past week on the I've Had It podcast, which I don't know if you follow the I've Had It podcast, but it is kind of filling this hole of left wing podcasts. I know in the last election cycle, they're like, why are there no left wing podcasts? And I think I've Had It has become one of the loudest vocal left wing podcasts out there. It's two blonde women from the middle of the country who they even say it. They're like, the reason we get to be the way we are is because we look like we're MAGA.
Okay.
But with their very left wing, they're very great. But on their podcast, they had Hassan Piker, who is another. He's kind of like a podcast bro for the left. We know there's thousands of podcast bros for the right, but he's kind of our one podcast bro for
Does
the
he
left.
like debate people? I see that, but like not. Does he like Charlie Kirk? Do you know what I mean? Does he like go and I might be thinking of someone else.
You might be thinking of the right person. I wouldn't say he's like Charlie Kirk. He's debated Charlie Kirk.
Okay. I wasn't sure if he was like, because you know how Charlie Kirk would like go to colleges and then like debate. I felt like I may have seen this guy like debating an audience, right? Like in a similar way, but maybe I'm wrong. Okay. Anyway,
Possibly.
sorry,
I don't think he goes and like debates college kids like Charlie
Okay.
Kirk did, but
Okay.
he definitely is. He has conversations, debates with people. He has his podcast. But what caused a little bit of the conversation around this is the woman who hosts the I've Had It podcast posited a question where she said, if the election was tomorrow and it was JD Vance against Gavin Newsom, I would obviously vote for Gavin Newsom without question. The other guest said, oh my God, me too. And then Hassan Piker said, no, I would vote third party.
Okay.
And from that has caused a lot of discussion. Obviously, there's kind of what a lot of people are referring to as blue MAGA, very kind of central liberals who their entire political discourse boils down to vote blue no matter who. And I am
Mhm.
speaking with a little bit of bias because that is not me. I do get frustrated with a lot of these people. And a lot of other people are coming about saying, like, Gavin Newsom hasn't even said that he's running for president. He has not put forward a campaign platform that he would run on. All he has is his history. We have no idea who's running for president. Like to act like he's a monster for speaking on that hypothetical, I don't agree with.
Does feel a lot like another situation where the left is ready to eat its own for disagreeing. And I don't think that has ever gotten us anywhere. I do think there was a clip fed to me. Ezra Klein was on a podcast and they were discussing Pete Buttigieg and whether his gayness was a disqualifying factor in him actually winning an election against JD Vance, which I don't think it is. I do fear that I don't know Gavin Newsom's record. I don't know where he falls. I haven't paid attention because for fuck's sake, let us not think about it for a fucking second.
Right.
Like
And it's also because he's not running for president. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I don't live in California. He's not running for president. I don't really know much about him. And I think that's a fair stance to have.
If the question is, I don't know. I guess what I'm assuming Hassan Piker's take is like not left enough. Like if Mamdani has taught us anything, then we should be leaning further away from anti-establishment, and Gavin Newsom is the epitome of establishment. And so would it mean I wouldn't vote for him? I, again, don't know yet for all the reasons you've mentioned, but there is something to be said about how we see over and over that the people are desiring a disruptor so much that they voted for Trump, and Bernie probably would have won back in the day. And Bernie to this day is doing work. And it feels like Gavin Newsom would be who the Democrats would put up. And we keep saying the Democrats keep doing that. And so it makes sense to me why he would say that, whether he's running or not,
Yeah, I feel like at this point, 2.5 years before an election, 2.5 years before like a primary season, I think it's fair to say that. I also I feel like people who always kind of get behind these centrist Democrats, kind of moderate leading, their big thing is always electability.
Hmm.
They're always like, I want someone who's electable, someone who can beat Trump. And then rather than listening to this gigantic cohort that is left of them saying, won't, having a large group saying, I won't vote for them, does that not affect their electability? Doesn't that make them not electable?
I feel like part of the problem is that they're gunning for the moderates, and I feel like the moderates have now picked a side.
Yeah, I don't feel like
Like
moderates exist anymore.
I think that middle pool is dwindling and they're kind of getting plucked to either side. And so, probably best to lean more into our side than to try to find the moderates or to pull people back to the center.
Right.
I
And
think that
also,
centrist politics are dead for the moment.
yeah, and also there was a study that came out around like exit polling and different polling around the New York City mayoral's race. And there was a statistic that came out that said 1 in 10 people who voted for Trump in 2024 voted for Mamdani.
Yeah.
So, like,
Disruptors.
yeah, leftist ideals are better at pulling people from the right than moderate centrist ideas. There's people who say the Democratic and Republican Party are the same. And then there's the people who act like anyone who says that is a complete fucking asshole. And I will say that both of those people are right in that people who say they're the same and people who think those people are assholes, I understand because if Kamala Harris was in office right now, we would not have ICE dragging people out of their homes in the street. They would not have ICE murdering people in the street, but ICE would still exist.
Yes.
ICE would still be fully funded and they would still be doing things that people would think are deplorable, but they get to ignore it. That's what the Democratic Party does. It softens it a little, it takes it out of this sensationalistic monster bullshit, which is the dragging people out, the murdering people in the street. It eliminates that, but keeps the essence and the establishment of ICE and the fact that that entire organization is based in racism. It keeps that. And that is the way in which the people who say the Democratic and Republican Party are the same are correct. If Kamala Harris was still in office, we still wouldn't have healthcare for all. If Kamala Harris was in office, we still wouldn't have student loan relief. If Kamala Harris was in office, we would still have an utterly broken healthcare and insurance industry. I want those people who think that the Democratic and Republicans are the two sides of the same coin. I want them to realize that we can have better. We can create a better society. We can create a better political organization that works for people before the Epstein class, before corporations, before ultra mega wealthy people. And that is another way in which the Democratic and Republican Party are the same. They are for a society that lets the Epstein class and white men do whatever they want, and it is time for a change and it is time to ask for better. And I think that is what Hassan Piker is doing and saying that no, I'm not going to vote for Gavin Newsom. We're 3 years out. We have 3 years to come up with not only someone better, but something better, a political platform that can really create a coalition that brings together the entire left for something that not only puts Trump and his ideals behind us and in the ground, but create something for the future that is better for all of us.
You really served it then. I was here for that. But that would require, do you ever like stop and think about, there's this kid on, you probably don't stop and think about this kid on TikTok, but there's this kid on TikTok. I think his name is Davis. And Davis every day reviews his school lunch.
Mm.
And his school lunch is always terrible because it's a school lunch. And I've really been thinking about, how the American population who's not wealthy, who is, and I'm not the picture of health by any means, but I do live in a place that is, there's not a drive through near me. There's no, we
Mm.
have to cook our own food. And I just feel like the resistance is hard. It's hard to muster the self-worth of thinking that you deserve more than what they're giving
Mhm.
you when you're sick and uneducated. Like, there's just so much about our society and capitalism that has beaten people to the ground, and they're exhausted from working 60 hours a week for half as much as they made when their parents worked 40. I think that part of what's happening is it's hard to muster that belief when you're in the fucking trenches
Mhm.
and when there's been such a systemic attempt to oppress the people. But we're gonna get out of it. It's gonna be great. I feel good about it. I feel good about it. I think we can do
Yeah.
it, right?
I do. I feel so much better about it than I did a few weeks ago, which
Is
was
that just
hard
because 'cause
because
you're getting 10,000 steps a day?
who
You just
knows?
generally feel better.
Well, I honestly, I will say I don't think you're wrong. I think that might be part of it, but it's also there were a lot of crushing blows in the past month, and I feel like there's a bit of this we're trying to reorganize, put something amazing back together,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, I mean, the system is broken, and I'm really glad they brought all these flaws to light, and now we can do something about it if we can get rid of some of these 90-year-olds out of the office.
You know how I feel about it.
I know how you feel about it. You hate old people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Harrison's an ageist. All right, I think we did it. Did we do it?
Yeah, I think we did.
It feels like an episode.
Yeah.
If you are still listening, you're still listening. Go
But of
to Queer
course.
Times and rate it and review it and tell your friends and just, share it around and
Yeah.
give us a
And
little
if you
like
don't follow us on Instagram and TikTok,
go do that. We gotta hit 1,000 on Instagram this week. I'm here for that.
ooh, follow us on
And let's
Instagram right now.
yeah, go follow us on Instagram, tell your friends, and yeah, I love you.
Queerly.
Queerly.
Bye.
Bye. Queer is in.